Welcome to the DIY Honda Garage channel. The Diagnostic Trouble Code DTC P0460-17 refers specifically to an abnormality in the fuel level sensor circuit of the Honda CR-V 2023 and onward models. This code indicates that the output voltage from the fuel level sensor, which is part of the fuel gauge sending unit, is excessively high, causing the powertrain control module PCM to flag a potential issue. The fuel level sensor is integrated with the fuel tank unit, making it crucial for monitoring the fuel level and sending that information to the gauge control module. If the PCM detects a voltage reading beyond its predefined thresholds, it will trigger the DTC and store it for diagnostics. Understanding the components involved, their functions, and their locations in the vehicle will aid in promptly resolving this code during troubleshooting. The DTC P0460-17 indicates a malfunction of the fuel level sensor, also known as the fuel gauge sending unit. This sensor is a critical component that detects the amount of fuel in the tank and transmits this information to the gauge control module. The code is set when the powertrain control module, or PCM, detects that the voltage output from the fuel level sensor exceeds specified limits. This abnormal reading leads the PCM to determine that there is a fault within the system. The fuel level sensor is located within the fuel tank unit, whereas the gauge control module is usually found in the interior of the vehicle. A meticulous inspection of both components and their connections is essential when troubleshooting this DTC. When diagnosing DTC P0460-17, it's essential to consider several potential causes that may lead to this high voltage reading. Firstly, a faulty fuel gauge sending unit is a primary suspect. If the sensor itself is defective, it may output incorrect voltage readings to the PCM. Additionally, the wiring associated with the fuel gauge sending unit may have open circuits or breaks, affecting the sensor's ability to communicate accurately with the PCM. Lastly, a malfunctioning gauge control module could also lead to this issue, as it is responsible for interpreting the sensor's outputs. Identifying the specific cause is critical to effectively resolving the DTC and restoring normal fuel level operation. The symptoms associated with DTC P0460-17 typically include incorrect fuel gauge readings, which can mislead the driver about the actual fuel level in the tank. This discrepancy may lead to situations where the driver may unknowingly run low on fuel, risking vehicle stalling. Additionally, warning lights related to fuel level may remain illuminated on the dashboard, indicating an error to the driver. In some instances, the vehicle may enter a default mode, affecting engine performance due to the PCM's inability to accurately gauge fuel levels. A thorough examination of these symptoms is essential for diagnosing and resolving the underlying issues related to this DTC. The first step in troubleshooting DTC P0460-17 involves initiating the vehicle's electronic systems. Begin by turning the vehicle to the on mode without starting the engine. This action powers up the vehicle's electrical components, enabling full functionality for diagnostics. After turning the vehicle on, it is crucial to wait for 30 seconds. This wait period allows the PCM to establish initial communication with the various sensors and modules, including the fuel level sensor and gauge control module. This step is fundamental as it prepares the vehicle's electronics for further inspection and testing, ensuring accurate readings and reliable data during the subsequent troubleshooting steps. The second troubleshooting step requires careful disconnection of certain electrical connectors. Begin by disconnecting the fuel tank unit connector, which typically has 4 pins, as well as the gauge control module connector A, that usually consists of 32 pins. Once these connectors are safely removed, proceed to inspect the fuel gauge sending unit. This unit is vital for sending accurate fuel level information to the PCM and gauge control module. Testing the sending unit for continuity and resistance is important, as any irregularities in its performance may lead to the high voltage readings associated with DTC P0460-17. Conduct this inspection with precision to ensure efficient troubleshooting. In this step, focus on thoroughly inspecting the wiring associated with the fuel gauge circuit, specifically the fuel gauge plus and fuel gauge minus signals. Conduct an open wire inspection to ensure there are no breaks or damages in the wiring harness connecting the fuel gauge sending unit to the PCM. A crucial element of this inspection includes checking for resistance. Both fuel gauge plus and fuel gauge minus should read less than 1 ohm when tested under normal conditions. If any issues are found during this inspection, repairing or replacing the affected wiring will be paramount in rectifying the DTC. This diligence in checking wiring integrity plays a key role in resolving high voltage output issues from the fuel level sensor. The fourth step in troubleshooting DTC P0460-17 involves inspecting the gauge control module itself. After conducting prior inspections and ensuring that other components are functioning correctly, it may be determined that the gauge control module is the problem source. This inspection involves a detailed analysis of the module's connections and functions. If other tests have returned normal results, but the DTC persists, it is a strong indication that the gauge control module may be at fault. Therefore, thorough testing of the module's performance and its ability to accurately process fuel level data is essential. Identifying module failure can conclusively resolve the DTC. After all diagnostic and repair steps have been completed, the final verification is essential for ensuring the fault has been resolved. Begin by conducting a series of final tests to confirm the functionality of the fuel level sensor, gauge control module, and associated wiring. Monitor the voltage readings to ensure they now fall within acceptable limits. Once satisfied with the performance, proceed to clear the fault codes from the PCM. This process resets the system and allows for a fresh start. After clearing the codes, it is recommended to take the vehicle for a test drive to confirm that no new DTCs are triggered, thereby completing the troubleshooting process satisfactorily. Incorporating preventive maintenance practices can significantly reduce the likelihood of encountering DTC P0460-17 in the future. Regular inspections of the fuel system are essential. This should include the fuel level sensor and connection integrity. Drivers should also ensure that the connectors are tightly secured and free from corrosion or damage that can lead to voltage discrepancies. Proper maintenance will help detect potential issues early and prevent future faults. Moreover, understanding the functions of each component and their interaction within the system can greatly aid in troubleshooting when problems arise. By taking proactive measures, you can maintain the reliability of your Honda CR-V's fuel monitoring system. In summary, DTC P0460-17 relates to a high-voltage issue with the fuel level sensor circuit in the Honda CR-V 2023 and newer models. Diligently following the structured troubleshooting steps not only helps to identify the root cause, but also ensures an efficient resolution. Understanding the roles of the fuel gauge sending unit and gauge control module is critical in this process. Regular inspections and preventive maintenance can mitigate the risks of encountering similar issues in the future. Always remember to conduct all necessary tests and verifications post-repair to ensure that the issue has been completely resolved. This comprehensive approach ensures that your vehicle remains in optimal operating condition. Please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.